My name is Drew Berry, I'm in my mid-30s and I'm a 3D animator. What I do is create animations that explain the discoveries of the scientists at the Walter and Eliza Hall Institute. All of my animations are based on real science. What we know about how diseases function is far more interesting and far more fascinating than anyone could possibly make up. The animations I create are using the same technology they use for feature films like Shrek or Lord of the Rings, but instead of creating fantastic monsters, I'm creating the real monsters that occur inside our bodies to show people what these diseases are actually doing inside our bodies. My specialty is doing science at the microscopic scales. Scientists have a pretty good idea of what's going on down there at the microscopic scale. The problem is we can't actually see it. It's too small to be filmed. So from their descriptions in the papers and journals is what I'm reconstructing in an animation. Most of my time is spent in front of computer screens. I spend about a third of my time each day in libraries and online researching each topic. I then spend about a third of my time just playing with animation software, working out the different ways I could possibly create the animation. And the last third of the time is actually spent building the animations. So the key step is definitely doing the research and speaking to the scientists and making sure I have a good understanding of what the subject, what the disease is all about. As a kid, I was really inspired by Jacques Cousteau and I wanted to be a marine biologist and study sharks. I went to university and did all the requisite subjects for marine science and loved it. At the end of my degree, I was inspired by a professor who did lots of filming of aquatic cells under the microscope, and I was inspired by his enthusiasm. So I ended up doing a master's degree with him in cell biology, which was quite different to what I expected. I realized that much as I love science and it's fascinating, being a scientist and working at a lab bench wasn't for me. Anyway, an opportunity came up to work in advertising and marketing, and so I did that for a couple of years and learned a phenomenal amount, but missed science. And so ended up at the Walter and Eliza Hall Institute as their Photoshop guy, so I was just jazzing up their images. From there, it evolved into animation. You should definitely choose something you just want to do and you're passionate about. And if you choose that, you'll always succeed because you'll just put the extra effort in that will put you ahead of all the rest of the people. Being an animator, it takes a particular type of person. It's not for everybody, but if you are into computer games or inspired by special effects and feature films, it's worth giving a shot. It takes a lot of persistence and patience to do an animation, but I think it's fun, and I know a lot of other people do too. So being any specialist animator requires a very strong background in whatever your specialty may be. And I have a master's in cell biology and also a bachelor's and with honors in science. There is a huge demand for animators of all sorts, particularly ones who do specialize in science, for example, because there's a huge need to explain science to the general public. And it's not just biology, it's physics, it's mathematics, it's many different areas. The internet is full of lots of good advice and lots of good tools for you to play around with on your home computer, and that's a great place to start. And if you are into games particularly, that's the driving force of the industry now. It's a booming industry. What I really want to do is reach audiences who aren't already turned on to science. I want to reach audiences who don't think science is for them. Oh, I love it. It's what I do for fun.